Imagine a place hidden in plain sight where the fate of millions can be decided by just a handful of people. A place that looks more like a temple than an office, shrouded in tradition and mystery, yet at the very center of American life. Here, 9 individuals in black robes gather to make decisions that ripple through every corner of the United States. These are not elected officials, nor are they answerable to voters. They are the Supreme Court justices, and their word is final. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, and its 9 justices wield a kind of power that is almost unimaginable. They interpret the Constitution, decide what laws mean, and sometimes even what rights Americans have. Their decisions have shaped everything from who can marry, to what schools can teach, to how elections are run. With a single ruling, they can change the course of history, affecting generations yet to come. These justices can strike down laws passed by Congress, overrule actions taken by the president, and set precedents that bind every court in the country. Their power is vast, and their decisions are often irreversible. When the Supreme Court speaks, there is no higher authority to appeal to. Their rulings are the last word, closing the door on debate and setting the law of the land. Yet, for most of its existence, the Supreme Court operated without a formal code of ethics. Unlike lower court judges who must follow strict rules, the justices set their own standards, or sometimes none at all. In fact, the most powerful court in America had fewer rules than the manager at your local grocery store. Imagine that. The people deciding the nation's most important questions had less oversight than someone running a checkout lane. It wasn't until late 2023, after mounting public pressure and a series of scandals, that the justices finally agreed to write down some rules for themselves. Protesters gathered, headlines blared, and the court responded, at least on paper. But there's a catch. The code of conduct they adopted has no teeth. There's no outside body to enforce it, no penalties for breaking the rules, and no real way to hold the justices accountable if they choose to ignore it. Each justice acts as their own judge, jury, and ethics counselor. If a conflict arises, it's up to them to decide whether to step aside or stay on a case. There's no one to overrule their judgment but themselves. These 9 people are appointed for life. They can serve for decades, shaping the country's laws and values, and there's almost nothing anyone can do to remove them, short of impeachment, which has only happened once in history. This isn't just a matter of legal procedure. It's about the balance of power, the need for accountability, and the public's trust in the system. When so much authority rests in so few hands, the rules matter more than ever. Recent years have seen stories of secret payments, undisclosed gifts, and luxury vacations, all raising serious questions about the integrity of the court. If the justices aren't held to the highest ethical standards, what does that mean for the rest of us? Why are the most powerful judges in America held to the lowest ethical standard? Shouldn't those with the greatest power also have the greatest responsibility? It's a question that deserves an answer, and one that every American should be asking. How does one land the incredible job of a Supreme Court justice? It's a position that sits at the very top of the American legal system, shrouded in tradition, power, and a bit of mystery. For many, it's the ultimate legal dream job, one that comes with immense responsibility and perhaps most notably, a lifetime appointment. But what does it actually take to get there? It's not a LinkedIn application. You can't just upload your resume and wait for a call. There's no online portal, no job fair, and no interview with HR. The path is far more exclusive and frankly a lot more complicated. When a vacancy opens up, often after years or even decades, the President of the United States gets to nominate someone. This nominee is usually a highly respected judge or legal scholar, someone with a long track record in the law. But the President's pick is just the beginning. The nominee faces intense scrutiny from the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senators grill them on everything from their legal philosophy to their personal history, searching for any hint of controversy or bias. The process can be grueling, with televised hearings and endless questions. If the Senate votes to confirm, the nominee is officially sworn in as a Supreme Court justice. From that moment, they hold one of the most powerful and prestigious positions in the country. It's a job for life, designed to protect justices from political whims and shifting public opinion. They can serve for decades, shaping the law and the nation's future long after the president who appointed them is gone. This independence is meant to ensure justice is blind, not swayed by politics or popular trends. The idea is that justices can make tough, even unpopular decisions without fear of losing their job. But lifetime tenure creates a unique problem: accountability. With no elections and no set term limits, justices answer to no one but themselves. Who ensures justices play by the rules when in many ways they make the rules? There's no higher court to appeal to, and very few checks on their power. The ethics debate roars in as lifetime tenure makes policing behavior difficult. Questions about transparency, conflicts of interest, and personal conduct often swirl around the court, with few clear answers. The only thing keeping a justice in line is their own conscience, their sense of right and wrong, and their commitment to the law and the Constitution. As we'll see, that can be a very flexible guide, one that's shaped by personal beliefs, experience, and sometimes the pressures of history itself. Let's talk about rules. Rules are the backbone of any judicial system, ensuring fairness and accountability. Regular federal judges follow a strict code of conduct. This code is comprehensive and covers various aspects of their professional and personal lives. It's a binding set of regulations with real teeth. These rules are not just suggestions, they are enforceable standards. Judges must disclose gifts and avoid conflicts of interest. This transparency is crucial for maintaining public trust in the judiciary. There's a formal process for investigating and disciplining them. This ensures that any misconduct is addressed promptly and fairly. This ensures decisions are based on facts and law, not gifts. The integrity of the judicial process is paramount. Now, let's look at the Supreme Court. The highest court in the land operates under different rules. Until recently, justices had no such code. They operated without the same level of oversight as other federal judges. They argued applying it would violate separation of powers. This principle is meant to keep the judiciary independent from other branches of government. Even with the new code, there's no enforcement but themselves. This self-regulation raises questions about accountability. If accused of a conflict, the justice decides if they did wrong. This lack of external oversight is concerning. This creates a double standard where the most powerful have the least oversight. It undermines the principle of equal justice under the law. It's a loophole big enough to fly a private jet through. This disparity in rules and enforcement needs to be addressed for the sake of judicial integrity. Whispers about lavish lifestyles of some justices turned into a roar. Justice Clarence Thomas accepted luxury travel from billionaire Harlan Crow, trips on private jets, vacations on a super yacht, and stays at exclusive resorts. Crow paid private school tuition for Thomas's grandnephew and bought properties from Thomas. Thomas financed an RV with a loan from a wealthy friend, raising questions about repayment. Thomas claimed personal hospitality from a friend didn't need reporting. These revelations painted a picture of secrecy and lax standards. The appearance of influence was deeply damaging, making the court look like a private club. Ethics questions extend to spousal conflicts of interest. Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny, is a conservative political activist. Her activism intersected with issues before the court. Ginny supported efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. She attended the Stop the Steal rally and urged White House officials to fight. Cases related to the election and January 6th reached the Supreme Court. Many argued Justice Thomas should have recused himself. He did not, creating a massive perception problem. How could the public trust his judgment wasn't influenced by his wife's activism? This web of undisclosed payments and activism struck at judicial impartiality. Faced with bad press, the justices created a formal ethics code. They exchanged handwritten memos to avoid leaks. The Code of Conduct for Justices was unveiled. It laid out principles on avoiding impropriety and conflicts of interest. But the code had no enforcement mechanism. Justices continued to police themselves with no independent review. Internally, justices were divided on enforcement. Some acknowledged the need for an enforcement mechanism, others argued outside oversight threatened the court's independence. The result was a compromise that pleased no one and solved nothing. Why does this matter? The Supreme Court's power is built on public trust. The court has no army or police force. Its authority comes from legitimacy. We follow its decisions because we trust they are fair and impartial. When trust erodes, the system wobbles. If justices are seen as biased, rulings lose moral force. History shows loss of faith in institutions leads to instability. Recent ethics scandals have dropped public trust in the court. Approval is at historic lows, with decisions seen as politically motivated. A Supreme Court without trust is like a king with no subjects. Its power depends entirely on credibility. Proposals to fix the Supreme Court's ethics problem vary. Some lawmakers propose a binding code of conduct with independent enforcement. Ideas include an inspector general for the judicial branch. Proponents argue accountability strengthens independence. Critics warn congressional action threatens separation of powers. Chief Justice Roberts argues Congress can't impose an ethics code. A stalemate exists, with justices insisting on self-policing. Suggestions for a softer approach include a committee of judges for review. The debate continues, but the honor system is broken. Pressure for a real solution isn't going away. We have a system where lower court judges follow strict ethics codes. They disclose finances, avoid conflicts, and steer clear of politics. This oversight ensures fair and impartial rulings. Then there's the Supreme Court, held to the lowest ethical standard. Justices operate under a voluntary, unenforceable code. They can accept lavish gifts and face no consequences. Judicial independence is cited as a reason for this double standard. True independence should come from integrity, not immunity. The idea that the most powerful are least accountable is at odds with democracy. It creates a crisis of legitimacy, threatening the institution. Trust in the legal system is